So I recently finished watching Kill la Kill, and
man.
I really loved it. It was great. So then I was looking over my favorites list, and then I was trying to figure out where do I put this thing, because it was such a great show. But then that got me into thinking about one of my other favorites, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was one of my very first anime, and I feel like some of my experience or how much that resonated with me is kind of starting to wear off over time. And then that got me into thinking about just how I got into anime and thinking of what shows got me into anime in the first place and how my tastes have kind of evolved. So that made me wonder, how did you guys get into anime?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question. You go first, because I don't really... I'm still trying to think of my answer.
Well, I have an interesting answer to this one, since, Alex, you talked about Brotherhood, because one of my first anime was the original Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, not my first anime, because my first anime were Naruto, and I think just Naruto. Naruto, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! But when I was getting back into anime in the string of being into anime that led me to being a professional anime YouTuber, one of my first anime was the original Full Metal Alchemist. So yeah, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? It was good.
I've never sat down and watched the original Full Metal Alchemist. I've only seen Brotherhood.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's funny because people always say that Brotherhood is the masterpiece between the two. But after watching the original, I couldn't get into Brotherhood for the first time I tried to watch it, because I just felt like the atmosphere was so off.
Yeah, there's definitely a pretty significant difference between the tone of the original and Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can't properly appreciate Brotherhood, in at least as far as the plot goes. You can't properly appreciate it unless you've seen 2003, because the first section of Brotherhood just breezes through that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's but then if you prefer the tone and the atmosphere of 2003, then you can't really appreciate Brotherhood either. So it's well, I mean, it's not that you can't, but they're definitely two different. One is more so your typical shonen action, escalating stakes and whatnot, whereas the other has a bit of a darker outlook on things. It has a different purpose, with it being anime original and all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think my thing is, it's not like I didn't watch any of the original Full Metal. I think I watched up to the point where the general died. What's his name?
Spoilers.
Hughes. Where Hughes dies in the original, the regular Full Metal. Mm-hmm. And then I heard about Brotherhood, so I switched to Brotherhood after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I actually kind of played that perfect by accident, because I really got to get attached to Hughes, because in the original, that's 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Brotherhood, it was 4, maybe 5.
It wasn't 4 or 5.
It was pretty short.
10, 12, but I don't think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, because I stopped watching Brotherhood at episode 7, I think, and Hughes was definitely alive.
Oh, okay. Well, they kill off Hughes. I just remember the fact that they kill off Hughes pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I was oh, okay. I didn't have as much time to get attached to Hughes, whereas in Full Metal, the original, when he died, I was fuck, son of a bitch, you bastards.
Uh-huh.
So, I can see your point.
Now, the interesting thing that you said there, Bryant, was that you stopped around episode 7, which I
which
feel
is
like
where the old 2003 stuff stops.
So you haven't actually gotten into the big Brotherhood exclusive, the manga plot that the 2003 misses out on, which I think is, I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to watch your anime, but I feel like you're not the early portion of Brotherhood is just bad. It complete the 2003 does the material better, but I feel you should give the other stuff a shot. I mean,
I agree.
You have the time.
It's on my extensive to watch list.
Very extensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely understand why you would drop it at that point, because the early material is not very impressive in Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
In most instances, at least.
Mm-hmm. Well, my roommates and I have this anime night, which we define anime very loosely. We're currently watching through Adventure Time, but I get to pick the next show, so
there you go.
Brotherhood
#StoTsAnime.
might be there.
There you go.
I definitely think that's a good show to like watch with other people. Like just get the full experience of it. It's a fun little thing, but it's also got like some serious stuff. It's good. Like it's not. I don't know. There are certain shows that I feel like are not like I don't know. For example, if I would want to watch, say, like Evangelion with a group of people, like I don't know if that'd be the most fun time.
I don't know, man. I watched Evangelion alone, and the whole time I was just like, I've got to finish it. I have to finish this, no matter how terrible it is. Just
now, like Kaiba, I think is like a good example of an anime you would never want to watch in a group.
Yeah, I feel like I would have been a lot more tempted to watch Evangelion if I had other people to watch it with. Just because, like, I recognize that Evangelion has its strong points, but I don't know, I would have enjoyed watching it a lot more if there were other people who could laugh at the weak points with me.
There you go.
No.
So what
people
were we talking about
people
again?
are gonna blow up these comments. Like, they don't like Brotherhood, they don't like Evangelion. Now, how are these people anti-tumors?
Jesus.
Yeah, we were talking about our first animes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it was the original Full Metal Alchemist, which, as I talked about in my 50K Q&A video, like, watching this anime with, this guy who I kind of barely knew at the time, basically led both to me having my current job and to me having my current best friend. So, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is very irrelevant to me. Full Metal Alchemist, the original, is very important to me. But there was also Ouran High School Host Club, which we also watched together. And I don't remember if we watched Ouran first or FMA first. But one of those two. And, yeah, Ouran is my honorary 10 out of 10 on Mal. Like, there's nothing wrong with that series. It's liquid happiness. I don't know. I just love it so much. So, and it has a very important place in my life as one of the series that, like, got me back into anime and, like, basically, kind of led to me having the life I have today.
Sweet.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Let's see. I think I've gotten mine down. So it's like, because I didn't get into anime until I had found the anime club at my high school.
Yeah.
So I had narrowed it down to 4 shows I had to approve. So I had to watch them for the sake of making sure they were school friendly.
Yeah.
And those shows were Clanad, Mira Nikki, Nightmare Mary, I think it was. And then, like, what was the 4th show? I don't remember what the 4th show was, but there was another one. Oh, Ouran High School Host Club. That was what it was. So those 4 were the first 4 shows I sat through and watched and were like, oh, maybe I like this, you know? And, yeah, I enjoyed them greatly. It was a good experience.
Wait, hang on. Why were you part of an anime club if you didn't watch anime?
So, yeah, there's actually a really good story behind that. So, I went to high school that was, like, I was trying to get into, like, a really good college. I was originally going to go for, like, a mechanical engineering degree. But I was trying to get into, like, a pretty nice college. So, like, I had a pretty decent GPA at this point. I was like, I want to try, like, another thing you have to do is get into clubs and, like, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, what kind of clubs can I do? Like, because at that point, like, it was my sophomore year and I wasn't in any clubs. And in order to be, like, a president of a club, you have to be in the club since your freshman year.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to make a club. Like, I just need something, though. So I hung out with all the band kids because we were all nerds, too. And they were like, yeah, we're all watching anime and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's fucking weird. Whatever. And they're like, we want to found an anime club. I'm like, okay. And then they were like, and like a year passed and nothing happened. Like, no one did anything. And I was like, are you fucking serious? They're like, yeah, man, we're totally going to do it this next year. I'm like, you know what? How about I fucking do it? And like, yeah, we'd like to see you try. And then within like 2 weeks, the club was founded.
Go Matt.
It was just like, okay. So I went to the principal. My bad. We weren't the anime club. We were the Japanese culture club.
Same thing.
Where we talked about Japanese art and culture.
Yeah. There aren't like 5,000 more years of Japanese art and culture to talk about.
Yeah, but just like fucking like, screw it. So and then I was like, in order to get the anime approved, since I was like the founder and the president, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll fucking watch some of these weird ass shows. And I was like, this is enjoyable.
All right.
And that's how I got into anime. I did not come into it with a pot. My dad always reminds me when he sees my YouTube channel, he's like, remember, you used to talk shit about that stuff. I'm like, I know, shut up.
As long as we admit our mistakes.
That is a very interesting origin story there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my setup. That's how I got into anime, and that's the anime I started off with. Brian, you didn't really. Not Brian. Alex, you didn't actually really properly explain what shows got you into anime.
Well,
what are you,
I
the
guess
hall monitor? Alex can talk about what he wants.
So,
Alex, you didn't answer our casual conversation correctly.
Bastard.
So, the very first anime that I watched was Sword Art Online. No joke, that was the first thing. And that wasn't the show, like, there's your first anime, like, knowing it's anime, and then there's, like, the show that hooks you. And the show that hooked me was Death Note. I watched that, and, like, Sword Art Online, at the time, I thought was okay. Like, it had an interesting premise, and, I mean, it looked cool visually. So, but Death Note was the first time that, like, I really saw, like, this is the final form of anime, is what I thought at the time. Like, this is what this medium is capable of. Like, you watch Death Note, and then you just gotta binge it. I was in deep, man. I just couldn't stop. And at that point, it's like, well, I'm an anime fan now, and there's no going back. So yeah,
that's another show on my extensive to watch list.
Same. I feel like I'm feeling bad because I really should have watched Death Note by now, but
I'm not alone.
I haven't gotten around to it. I've watched the movie, guys.
Oh,
so that counts, right? That counts for something.
I had this idea to make a video about analyzing the movie without having seen the original Death Note.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So, okay, cool.
All the people were defending it, like, the movie's not that bad, just stand alone. Like, I haven't watched the Death Note anime, and so I literally have no bias. And I watched the movie, and it was fucking terrible.
All right.
I mean,
just my opinion.
As far as the Death Note anime is concerned, it's definitely a show that I would recommend to other people, and I think it would make for, like, a good... maybe this is my personal bias, because it was the show that hooked me on anime, but I think it would be, like, a good gateway anime. Just something to recommend to anybody, because I think, at least as far as... it might not be the most anime out there, but, when you're first getting in, you kind of need to be, like, you need it to hold your hand a little bit, depending on the type of person you are, because you're a little unsure of what this medium's going to offer. Death Note, I think, is a good, like, it'll take you through, it'll get you hooked, it'll dig its claws into you, and then you're trapped forever.
Yeah. You were just talking about how one of the first anime you, like, consciously watched was Sword Art Online, which is, like, one of the quintessential gateway anime.
He's got a point.
That is true. This was, like, around the same time that, because the two that had been recommended to me at the time were Sword Art Online and Attack on Titan. And for whatever reason, Sword Art Online was just, my friend just showed me that, and that was just, is just the one I watched.
Yeah. No, I think Sword Art Online is a good first show. So, I don't know, it's... People always say that one of the strong points of Sword Art Online is like, oh, it's great for getting people into anime. So to hear you say, like, I wasn't a fan, I mean, it was alright. And then, like, oh, Death Note was awesome. I mean, people always say that Death Note is great for getting people into anime too, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't know. Just thought that was interesting.
I think the point you're trying to say here is that we don't, like, would you have watched Death Note if you had not watched Sword Art Online? Because Death Note's kind of a little bit more intimidating of a show just to watch on your own, whereas, like, Sword Art Online, it's so, like... I mean, Death Note's was widespread when it first came out. But it's not like that anymore, because it's been years since Death Note's come out. So, like, since Sword Art Online was new and the new gateway show, would you have watched Sword Art Online, which was relevant and popular at the time as a gateway, to get to Death Note? I think is what you're trying to say, right, Brian?
Well, no, I said what I was trying to say. It's just that what I was trying to say sucked.
Okay.
So, no, this is a much more interesting question.
I'm making your question better. Just take credit for it, goddammit.
So, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you saying, like, would I recommend Sword Art Online to someone to get to Death Note? Is that the question?
Well, I think, okay, did anyone recommend Sword Art Online to you, or did you just watch it of your own felicity?
Oh, no, I was hanging out with a friend.
Volition.
Yeah.
Volition. There we go.
I was hanging out with a friend one night, and he's just like, "Have you seen anime?" And I'm like, "What is anime?" And then he's like,
"Have you seen anime?"
Then he's like, "Yeah, Pokemon and stuff." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Dragon Ball and Pokemon." And he's like, "Oh, well, how about this show, Sword Art Online?" So I was very much so, I don't want to say roped into it, but he threw the offer on the table, I guess, and I was just there. I was along for the ride. It wasn't like, "Oh, Sword Art Online, this looks cool," finding it on Netflix or whatever. I'm gonna watch this. I didn't. It just kind of happened. I didn't really choose it, but I'm glad that I watched it because it got me to other things. Would not recommend it to others though.
Mm-hmm.
Although
at this point I don't need to because everyone knows what Sword Art Online is.
Right.
True story. Yeah, I don't know. I just like here's my. I think the main thing we're trying to say here is that is gateway anime like a necessary? Because for me, like, so my first show with Clanad. So if I had to show somebody like an anime at first, would I show them something Clanad, which is like the embodiment of anime? It's ultra dramatic. It's like huge eyes, like heartbreaking story kind of stuff. Or would I show them something kind of in that mid range that's still technically anime, but definitely on the edge, like Dragon Ball, Naruto, so on? What's y'all's opinions on that?
Well, like, I feel like if you're recommending something to somebody, then you can recommend anything. I think what makes gateway anime is that it's something that's culturally widespread, like on the fringes of the mainstream. Mm-hmm. So, like, something like Naruto can attract an audience who had no idea what anime was, had no friends who were into anime, and they can see this show about magic ninjas fighting each other, and be like, "Oh man, I love magic ninjas, I love fighting." Which is like what happened to me when I was a kid. But yeah, if you have a friend who's into anime, then they can say like, "Oh, have you seen Children of the Whales? Like, Children of the Whales is awesome. We should watch this together." And then you can watch Children of the Whales and be like, "Man, this art is really good. This story is really unique. I like it." But it's not a gateway anime.
So would you suggest your shows then? Because I think, like, if I have the option of like to sit down and force a person to watch a show, I would force them to probably watch Clanad. Because I know that. Because it's like the epitome of anime. Would you do that, or would you prefer a different show?
I would suggest making someone watch the original FMA and Oron. Because, I don't know. Oron, to me, is like the embodiment of that entire side of anime, the cute side. Because there's like the shoujo side and the shonen side. So, Oron is everything shoujo cranked up to 11 and presented in the best possible way. So if they're gonna like shoujo anime, they're gonna love Oron. And if they're gonna like shonen anime, then, I mean, Full Metal Alchemist is pretty good. And those are the only two things that people can like. So
I was about to say, you're really drawing some lines in the sand there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you like one of those two things, then you like half of all anime.
Basically.
No, like, I feel like if I'm recommending anime to somebody, then I know the person, and I can say, like, "Okay, you're into these things, how about we watch this kind of show?" I don't know, you like Breaking Bad, you like The Terminator, let's watch Inuyashiki.
See, but I've made this mistake before. So,
yeah.
I want to tell that story, because I think I've already told you guys this one. It was about one of my friends who was trying to get into anime, and he's like this kind of like burly guy, he's pretty big, like bigger than me, and, we were, just talking back and forth, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like, do you watch anime?" He's like, "Oh no, what's anime?" I'm like, "Well, let's watch some anime one night." So I was trying to think, like, what kind of shows would he like? And I was like, oh, he'd like action. So I pulled up Attack on Titan and stuff like that. Shows that I would think he likes. And he was just, like, totally turned off by it. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, okay, I guess he's just not into anime. Whatever. And then we were, like, searching through, and he saw something like, what was it? It wasn't K-On!, but a K-On!-esque show.
Right.
And it was like, oh, let's watch that. I'm like, wait, really? Like, you want to watch that? And now that dude has watched nothing but, like, shows with cute girls, like, in clubs having tea and cake. And, like, I had no, like, I mean, now he's, like, a super huge anime fan, but that's all he watches. It's like, I would have never fucking guessed that. So it's, even though, like, even if you think you know somebody, it doesn't mean, I mean, for me, my thing is I was wrong. Like, I was like, shit, he's into cute girls doing cute things, Digibro style sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So, but, like, if you know somebody and you know their media tastes, then you can say, like, okay, you like cute girls doing cute things anime. That's not the kind of anime that I would recommend to the average person. But since I know your specific taste, I can give you some specific anime. Like, I don't know, the roommate friend I was talking about earlier, like, okay, you want something with cute boys and some homoerotic tension. All right, let's give you Free. I wouldn't recommend Free to some random person on the street.
That's a good question. What's the worst show you could recommend to somebody?
Wait, did somebody ask a question? Because I think my audio dropped out for a second.
Oh yeah, I was like that's a good segue into.
I mean, I think I went deaf for a second. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, there we go. Gotta make it fucking canon.
Yeah. Sorry, I spaced out.
There we go. Spaced out. we were taking finals last week. That's why we missed the last episode. So what's the worst shows to recommend to someone as a beginner?
Honestly, I would say I haven't seen K-On!, but something like K-On!, just some very maybe slice of life Iyashikei shows. Yeah. Just something where there's not a whole lot of emphasis on plot. Because that's just a type of storytelling that we don't get very often in the West.
True. For me, it would be like hardcore, like, not Boku no Pico style, but like hardcore fan service anime.
Yeah, the raunchiest hentai you can find.
But like basically like the really over the top shit, like
Tenshi no 3P, Hajimete no Gal, Eromanga Sensei. Yeah,
because like I mean,
I think that's
imagine
the right
someone who's
here.
never watched any anime and like, yeah, I'm gonna show you the show called Eromanga Sensei, and like, what's that? And like, about to fucking find out, bitch. Like, oh.
That would be hilarious, though.
I mean, it would make for a good video, and it would make for someone who would never fucking watch anime again.
It's like, yeah, it's all like this. I don't know what you're talking about. This is a great story. Struggling writer with his family issues.
Trying to bang his 12-year-old sister, but they're not blood related, so
yeah,
it's totally fine.
And this is honestly one of the tamer ones, if that's the kind of thing that bothers you. Plebeian cuck.
We could go with some more hardcore stuff, don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, we'll watch Kalanad here in a minute.
I guess that really is
I think you solved that question, Matt.
Just there we go.
I guess that really is the trick with like introductory anime, is that if you make one false step and you could ruin someone for life, you might.
Well, it's not that easy to make that big of a false step though. You have to be really out of touch.
Well, I mean, okay, so like one of the guys at my work the other day found out I do this anime YouTube stuff, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "I've never like, what's anime?" I was like, "Oh, it's like Japanese animation, like it's like cartoons." He's like, "Oh, cool. Like I would want to get into something like I'm, you know." Like, he's like, I'll probably go home and like watch some stuff. I think like I've seen it on Netflix. He's like, "Is it okay if I just like get into it?" I'm like, I don't know. I was like, you might want to be a little careful. Some of the shows on Netflix are definitely I mean, I love Rosaria plus a vampire, but that's not a good starter show. That's like, if he watches that first, like, he's never gonna talk to me again. So it's just like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It really does depend on the person, because, like, someone, like, I mean, when I first got into it, I didn't really know what anime was, but I would like to think that I wasn't closed-minded towards it. I was just kind of like, okay, sure, I'll try this out. Whereas some other people might have, like, some sort of preconception about what anime is and what anime fans are like. And so then if it's like, if you show them something that kind of confirms that, and they must be like, oh, well, this is all anime now. But then again, I guess that's just, could you get that person into anime in the first place? I guess that's then the issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There are some sensitive issues regarding anime stereotypes and the like. So, like, if you're choosing a gateway anime, I'd definitely be conscious of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to go with anything with, like, pedophilic stuff in it, or, like, harem stuff in it, or incest
that's,
stuff in it.
In general, a good idea. Not like,
pretty much.
Not just for new anime fans, just like, oh, you want to avoid stuff with pedophilia stuff in it, incest stuff in it, harem stuff in it. I don't know. The other two less so.
Yeah.
But let's not have an argument about our respective views on incest in the middle of the hall.
No, actually, it was pretty cool. So, one of the guys I met at Anime Expo last year was chill as fuck, but he was showing me all the anime he was into. And I never met somebody who strictly watches harem anime until that day.
Huh.
He was like, oh yeah, have you watched To Love Ru? Have you watched this? Have you watched that? I'm like, okay. like, are you interested in any plot heavy shows? He's like, yeah, there's this great show called High School of the Dead. It's got a really good plot. Okay. We need to have a conversation, buddy. So maybe the harem thing isn't true for everything, for every single person. I guess if you know someone who's definitely sort of a pervert. I mean, I don't want to call this guy a pervert because he was chill as fuck, but at the same time, it was like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that rule isn't all encompassing, is what I'm trying to say.
But okay. Like, harem animes are typically pretty inoffensive.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with them is that the comedy's usually pretty bad. And there are definite exceptions, but...
Yeah, Prison
They just
School,
usually aren't very good, is the only thing.
Prison School is like one of the funniest... Although it's not technically a harem anime. It's just fan service anime.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely one of the funniest fucking ecchis I've ever seen.
Yeah. And, like, I don't think we can just write off any show that has an incest plot in a world where Game of Thrones exists.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of a good incest show. I couldn't...
Selector We Cross.
Selector Week. I don't think I've seen that one.
Nobody has, and that's probably a good thing because it's not very good. But one of its strongest points is actually its incest plot.
Great.
I mean, that says a lot about the show, I'm sure, but its character writing is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that's one of the things that I really look for in an anime. So, it has its problems. It's a card game anime where they never explain how to play the card game. But yeah. There's my bad anime recommendation for the week. Selector We Cross. What were we talking about?
I don't even remember.
Incest?
Incest, mostly, I think.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
Matt, Manime Matt. Yo, Matt. Do you think anime is for everyone?
Fuck you. God, we've broken the fourth wall like 8 times this podcast. I think it's gotta be a thing we gotta fucking start doing from now on. We legitimately can't go a podcast without breaking the fourth wall.
I feel like we've crossed off everything on that list of subjects that doesn't exist. So, so is anime for everyone?
I'm a strong believer that anime is in fact for everyone.
Same though. And Alex just never talks again.
Is he still here?
Alex?
Alex? Are you alive?
I was hiding. As soon as I heard incest, I just crouched down and just was hiding away, hiding my face in the hole.
Jesus.
But, I mean, I'd like to think that anyone, I'd like to think that anything could, I mean, I don't know, this is a really broad statement, but like, anything could be for anyone, and I don't think anime is an exception. I guess it's just, so yes, I don't know where I was going with that. Yes.
Yes.
Solid statement.
All right, fantastic. We are in agreement then.
Well, we have to give the answer along with a full statement defending our argument. Obviously,
Jesus,
we're in school.
You are all about deciding how we talk to each other today.
Yes. No, I just wanted to bring up the point that the reason why I think anime is for everyone is more so because anime is such a diverse genre, and that just about anybody who likes any form of media or art could get into anime.
Yeah.
Although very selective. Few might only like very specific shows, but I think overall the anime genre is all encompassing.
It's not a genre, but we can have
the
that
anime.
argument.
My bad. No, yeah. I know I'm wrong.
We can have that argument on another podcast.
The anime medium. Boom. Got it.
Movement. Well, I would say that anime is such a niche-centric movement that that you can find something that's going to hit any individual person on a really personal level. And it's just because there's so much of it that's centered on such a small audience. So like saying I'm into anime is kind of a weird thing to say, because like I'm quote unquote into anime, but I don't like most Iyashikei shows. I don't like most big action shows. But there are still huge swaths of shows that fit those descriptions that have audiences. And the people who like those shows tend to like them a lot. So, yeah, there's just so much anime that features so many absurdly specific plots that somebody's gonna find something that they love.
I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't think we were all gonna agree.
I mean, I think it's kind of like if you would say, are movies for everyone? And it's like, hey, have you ever, like, there's got to be some film out there that would be interesting, or TV shows. You know, there's got to be something that would catch your attention. It's not like a specific genre or anything where it's like, oh, everyone will like horror movies, because that's just not the case. So like, you might not like Eromanga Sensei or Sword Art Online or Kill la Kill, but you might like, I don't know, Sangatsu no Lion or something. You might like, I mean, you could be like me and love the big I just fused words. The big bombastic action spectacles. You could be a shonen boy. Well, that's redundant, but you could be that. You could be me. Or you could be into more of like the romance stuff. I mean, and even then, like within those genres, there's different, like they take different approaches with different stories. So it's like, you'll find something. It's just a matter of
for sure
giving it a try, and maybe be willing to give it more than one try.
And it's
maybe
like,
the first.
It's like what you were talking about with your friend Matt, the manly man who loves all those cute girls doing cute things shows. Because there are kinds of anime that we just don't see very often in Western media, like methods of storytelling, like plot structures, and things like cute girls doing cute things, where it's just centered on subject matter that we don't see very much in the West. And finding that kind of thing that really fills a niche that you can't find anywhere else, it's one of the things that makes anime more special. Not more special than other kinds of media, but special.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think one of the more interesting things I feel like I don't know if this is just me personally or if it's just with you guys too, is I feel like anime is kind of growing up with me. You know, like when in like my edgy teenage years, there were lots of edgy teenage anime I could watch that really like filled that hole for me. But like for instance, this season there's a show called My MMO Addiction.
Yeah.
Whatever, which I love because it's about a 30-year-old businesswoman fucking quitting her job, and like the youngest person in the cast is like in college who's 21 years old, you know? So it's kind of like, it's like this really neat, like, oh wow, like, you know, I can still like really resonate with these characters, you know? You know, sometimes when I watch a 14-year-old anime and like there's weird sexual like scenes, I'm like, okay, it's, you know, I get a little turned off because, you know, I'm older now, so it's like realizing the age difference. But I feel like a lot of the newer shows are kind of like moving along with us. Is that just me, or do you guys agree or disagree?
Well, I don't have much experience with older shows. I would say it's that we have more access to shows now. So something like, I don't know, the meme that Japan has shit taste because shows like Made in Abyss get ranked lower than the 300th season of Detective Conan, comes from the fact that Detective Conan is daytime TV, and people don't have to know about Detective Conan to search it out. Whereas Made in Abyss airs at like 1 a.m. on some obscure channel. Back in the day, if it wasn't on Toonami, then you had to both know about it and actively seek it out on the internet. Before that, you had to find it on a bootleg VHS. So I don't know. It's just that now there's such an established anime community on the internet. We have My Anime List to tell us literally everything that exists. And we can say, like, okay, there's Netju no Susume that exists this season. I'm going to watch this and see if my existence would be better for having it in it. Whereas before, you just wouldn't have heard of that show. You would have heard of, I don't know, Black Clover instead. Because there still are popular shows being made for cringy teenagers and preteens, like Black Clover. No offense to anybody who likes Black Clover, but offense to anybody who thinks it's good.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I'm firing shots here. God, this comment section is going to be a shit show.
I know, I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, I think there's still just as much anime being targeted at cringy young teenagers as there is anime that's being targeted at boring adults.
True. Although, you know, it might be another thing is that the number of anime that's being produced is going higher.
Yeah, significant. There's just more anime.
Yeah, so that might be the main cause. I think I was overthinking that's going with me, but there's just more anime, so there's more audiences they can hit, aka my audience.
Right.
So, yeah, because I know Digibro made a video about that this year, and I didn't really watch the whole thing because I don't have that kind of time, because each one of Digibro's videos is like 45 fucking minutes long. But I think the general thing is that he was kind of saying that it was hurting the community, and that, you know, being so many shows, you can't fucking watch every one. I was just kind of like in the mood of like, so what if you can't watch every one?
Yeah,
just find the ones you like and fucking enjoy them. You know, I think this season, I'm still going on about last episode, is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I am current with 8 shows. That is the most I've ever been current with in a season, just in general. Because there are so many good shows this season. I can't even list them all to you right now. But I'm just, I'm so happy about this season. Like, it's like technically, like, I think it's also the biggest season like ever in anime.
Really?
I think they have like 65 shows. Yeah, I think the most that's ever came out was like 52. So like it's like a huge jump up. Because I did research on a video a while back to see like the overall trends. So the number, I think this season is in fact the biggest that we've ever had.
Huh.
That's not factual. Someone can fact check me on that in the comments. But I'm pretty certain it's either that or it's at least one of the highest, like one of the top 5. But yeah, I mean, I think this is just a sign that this is fucking great. I'm so happy about this season. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just counted and I'm keeping track with 7 of them myself. So we're gonna have to fight about one of them, whichever one we don't share. But
there we go.
I would like
we
to.
can do that after school. Meet me outside.
Fight.
Yeah, anime fight.
Dude. What are you saying, Alex?
Yeah.
Well, and then you're talking about all these great shows this season. I must have just picked a bad bunch because I have not had much luck with this season.
Really? What
Like-
shows have you? What
Yeah,
shows have you
what-
watched?
Did you wind up watching everything, or?
Well, I got it. I ended up dropping Evil or Live because that was underwhelming.
Yeah, that was
seems
bad.
like it's gonna be bad.
Like I
I'm
think
still gonna give it the 3rd episode, but
I see the first episode was kind of visually interesting, and then the second episode was really off visually on top of other things, and then the third episode didn't really fix it.
and then there was
so I kind of
2001 A Boob Odyssey. Which
yeah,
was,
but there was that. I dropped Black Clover.
Honestly.
There was. Well, I mean, like I haven't. I think I've only checked out
you
like
did
4 or
pick the bad
5 shows, but right now the only one I'm like really watching that isn't continuing from that. The only show I'm watching that isn't Mahoji and Guru Guru is Anime Guitaris. So
really.
and I'm sure that there's more out there better than that.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
have
know.
you seen? I mean, what was it? Magus Bride?
I know there's the OVAs for that, so I'm still kind of iffy on whether I should just jump into it. But it's, I don't know.
I would
People are
recommend
talking
the
about
OVAs
it.
first.
Yeah.
I would do OVAs 1st and then the show. Although the show doesn't require you to watch the OVAs, but the OVAs are so good that you're gonna watch them anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't seen anything from Magus Bride yet, so I don't know why I'm agreeing with you. But
it's
it
so
looks
good.
fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's probably my favorite show. It knocked out Kekai Sensen down to number 2 slot.
Wow.
It was that good. Yeah.
Alex, you're a shonen boy.
I am a boy.
Yeah. Maybe Junie Tyson?
See, I've heard good things about that one too. Usually, like when a season starts, it takes me a good I'll find a couple at the beginning, but usually I'll wait like 4. I mean, we're at that point kind of now where it's like 4 weeks in, 5 weeks in, whatever, and it's like, okay, now let's start seeing what people think about these shows and figure out which one I should go for. So I don't know.
I do like the neat one.
Netju no Susume, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That one's really good.
That show's fantastic.
The intro is so good.
The OP is one of the best of the season.
Yeah, I'd always skip the OPs except for that show because that show's OP is just. I love the guitar riffs.
Yeah.
It's like what the fuck
song
are these
is
doing in here?
good. The
It's
visuals are
amazing.
good. No, the opening for Netju no Susume is great, and the music for the ending is great too.
I heard Kini no Tabai is really good too. I want to get around to that one also.
Kino's Journey.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's a remake.
Yeah, no, it is a remake.
I didn't know that because you all know that I don't watch anime. But
There you go.
yeah,
I'm
I
also,
put
like-
the original 2003 Kino's Journey on my list instead of the remake. Because
Big deal.
yeah, I'm gonna watch the original. What were you saying, Alex?
Well, no, Kino's Journey is another one I kind of avoided because there's another, there's the original, so it's like, which should I watch? Everyone would tell me that I should watch the original because that's how people operate, but I don't know.
From what I've heard is that you can just jump into this one.
Yeah, I've heard
It's an
that too.
episodic show.
But
You just jump into it.
I also talked about this on the Weebcast with Arcada, and he is a pretty big defender of the original because the new one condenses a lot of stuff, like how Brotherhood condenses the early episodes of FMA.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, I watched the first episode of the remake, and I mean, it's good. There's some visual stuff that kind of throws me off, like bad compositing on the CG. But no, it seems like it's going to be good. Just if the original's going to be better, I want to watch that. But yeah, Junie Tyson has exceeded my expectations.
I don't think I've seen Junie Tyson yet.
Yeah, Zodiac War. It's
Zodiac War.
very good.
Yeah, I think I
Like-
remember someone saying that the first episode opens on this big battle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I mean
Not
that
really.
sounds cool, or there's a lot of characters involved or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle royale show.
That's probably what I heard then.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not a huge fan of big action shows. Like, I can't remember the names of any from this season, but like, Juni Taisen is like the best kind of action show in that like it's not about the action, because the characters are for the most part pretty cool. And the one who everybody's rooting for is this like endlessly charismatic pacifist who's just trying to get everyone to stop fighting. It's like, hey, I've got a plan where we don't have to fight, and everyone's like, why would we not want that? Why would we not want to fight? But no, it's I've seen the first 4 episodes of it, and I am very eagerly waiting for more.
Sweet. I'll probably pick that one up tonight then.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Sounds like it. I'm excited for it.
All right, guys. Well, class is about to start.
Yeah, we got off on a bit of a tangent.
That was good.
But no, it was good. Glad to know where you all stand with the shows you started.
Good deal. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This has been Manime.
You can go ahead, Alex.
Math whiz.
And explanation point!
Woo! See you guys next week.
Bye.